Hi everyone, Carol here from Cool Designs. Today I'm going to show you how to use the wrap and turn method for creating short rows in knitting. Short rows are an interesting concept. They allow you greater shaping options in your work, other than just working backwards and forwards in rows or rounds. If you would like to jump to a particular point in the video, just hover over the play line to see the individual chapters. So let's get started on learning how to work short rows using the wrap and turn technique. Hi there, today we're going to be looking at something called short row shaping. So this is a process of shaping without casting off stitches. Short rows are often used to shape collars, and they are an effective way of shaping shoulders on fitted garments. So in this little example here, what you can see in the white that we've got a sort of a wedge shape has been created, and that uses short rows. Short rows are where you work partial parts of rows and then turn and work back, and that's what's been done here, and it creates a beautiful straight edge like that, and that is what people often use to shape shoulders rather than casting off and getting sort of jagged edges. So that's one use for it. Another use for short rows is where you might want to do some sort of other shaping, such as maybe a dart in your work, for instance. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to show you one method in this video and another method in another video, and I'm going to be showing you how to shape so that it sort of goes up like that and then down again. You'll see what I mean when we get on with it. So the first method we're going to look at is called wrap and turn, and that is because we work a wrap stitch. The yarn is wrapped around a slip stitch to avoid a hole when you turn on either a knit or a purl row, and it's those short rows that create the shaping. So let's have a look at wrap and turn first. I think I've got 30 stitches on here. So first of all, on a knit row, I'm going to show you how to do a wrap and turn. So I'm going to knit all the way to the last 5 stitches. So here we are at the last 5 stitches. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to bring the yarn forward between the needles. I'm going to slip the next stitch purlwise, and then I'm going to take that yarn back, and that wraps around that stitch that we've just slipped. We now put that stitch back onto the left needle, so it's completely wrapped, and then we turn. Because we've done a short row, and we're now going to work back and see what happens next. So this time I'm going to show you how to do it on a purl row. So I'm going to work to 5 stitches before the end of this row and then show you the purl row. We'll have another chance to see the knit row on the next row. So here we are, we're at our last stitches on a purl row. So we sort of do the opposite. So I'm going to take my yarn to the back, I'm going to slip the next stitch purlwise, always slip purlwise, bring the yarn back to the front again, and then slip that stitch back to the left needle. So that stitch is now wrapped. Turn the work and carry on. So this time I'm going to knit to 5 stitches before the last wrap, and we're going to do a knit, wrap and turn once more. You can usually tell the wrap stitch quite early on as you're coming to it because it looks quite different. Okay, we're not there yet. There it is. Let's just show you that. There's the wrapped stitch there. You can see it's wrap around the front, and it's got a bit of a hole next to it for now. That will disappear later on. So I'm going to go 5 before then, which is where I am now, and I'm going to do another wrap and turn. So bring the yarn to the front, slip the stitch left to right, take the yarn to the back and slip it back again. There's another wrap stitch, And now let's turn and do one more on the purl side. And then I'm going to show you what happens with all these wraps. How do we get rid of them? What do we do at the end? So let's see how that works now. So one more example of a purl wrap and turn, and then we'll see what happens next. There is my wrap stitch. It's easier to see from the other side there. So I'm going to go 2, 4, 5 in front of that, so I'll work 2 more, and then I'm going to do a purl wrap and turn. So take the yarn to the back between the needles, slip the stitch, bring the yarn to the front and slip it back. That's your wrap stitch and turn. Now this time we've done enough extra little rows for whatever it is I'm making, some sort of a dart or something like that in some shaping. So now I'm going to knit all the way to the end and show you how you deal with the wrap stitches when you do that. So that's usually the last stage. You work right to the end of a row, getting rid of the wraps. So I'm just knitting as normal up to the first wrap stitch, and here it is. So to get rid of this wrap stitch now, what we do is we work the wrap, pick the wrap up first and the stitch together, if you like. So I'm going to take the stitch over, and now I'm going to take the wrap over. And now that looks pretty much like a normal stitch. Let's show you that again on the next one. So here we are, pick up the wrap and the stitch. And if you like, you could put those both back on there if you feel better working like that, as if you're doing a knit 2 together. So that's what I've done there. So pop that back on there and knit and take both the stitch and the wrap over the top. Now let's knit to the end. So we've got rid of some of our wraps, but we need to do one more row to get rid of the rest of them. So you can definitely see the shaping happening here. This bit's longer. We've got rid of the wraps. They don't look too bad. I think I just split the yarn a bit there, which is a shame, but never mind. So we've still got some wraps over here to deal with on our purl row. So let's purl to the first wrap stitch and see what we need to do on a purl row. Here's the wrap stitch, so I'm going to pick up the wrap from the back this time, because I think that works better with purls. Pop it on there and then purl the wrap and the stitch it was wrapped around together. You have a little bit of a loopy bit on the back, but that will work its way out as you carry on. So let's go and do the same thing on the next one. Here it is. So I'm going to pick the wrap up, just get the back part of it. I'll highlight it first for you there, and then pick it up and pop it on the left needle, and then purl these two together and purl to the end. So there we have the wrap and turn method. You can hardly tell where the wrap and turns are happening, and you've got this extended part in the middle section, which is what I was trying to achieve, and you can barely see where we've done the wrapping and turning. So in the next one, I'm going to show you how to use what's called a German short row method, which is my favourite. I really hope you enjoyed learning how to use the wrap and turn short row technique. If you want to see another way of working short rows, then have a look at my German short rows video shown here. And if you want to find more knitting or crochet hints and tips, then hit subscribe to keep abreast of my latest videos. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you soon.